In the vast, cold expanse of space, a small alien scout ship glided silently, its metal hull reflecting the distant starlight. Hye Kang sat at the controls, her slender fingers moving with practiced precision. Her eyes, deep green with flecks of silver, scanned the endless darkness, searching for human settlements. Hye was not like other pilots. Her body carried the scars of previous battles, both physical and emotional. Each mark told a story of loss, of planets burned, of families destroyed by human expansion. She remembered her grandmother's tales of how humans had systematically destroyed her people's outer colony worlds, treating alien life as nothing more than an obstacle to their territorial ambitions. The ship's communication system beeped softly. Tactical data scrolled across the holographic display, revealing a human colony outpost hidden near a dense asteroid field. It was small, probably a research station, but to Hye, it represented everything she despised about human civilization. Target acquired, she whispered to herself, her translator converting her native language into a crisp, mechanical English. Her squadron of 3 ships moved with calculated precision. They had trained for months, studying human defensive patterns, learning their weaknesses. Today was not just a mission, it was a chance for revenge. As they approached the asteroid field, something felt different. The usual predictability of human defensive systems seemed altered. Hye's instincts, honed by years of combat, began to tingle with an uncomfortable sensation. Suddenly, a single fighter emerged from behind a massive asteroid. Its design was sleek, unlike the bulky human military ships she had encountered before. The pilot moved with a fluidity that was almost impossible, weaving through the rocky terrain like water flowing around stones. Unidentified pilot, Hye communicated to her wingmates. Be cautious, this is not a standard response. Her warning came too late. The lone human fighter attacked with a speed and precision that defied everything she knew about human combat techniques. Laser pulses cut through the first scout ship, reducing it to molten debris in seconds. Hye watched in shock as her second wingmate attempted to counter, only to be systematically dismantled by a series of calculated strikes. The human pilot wasn't just fighting. He was dancing through space, turning the asteroid field into a deadly choreography of destruction. Her own ship shuddered as the first direct hit connected. Alarms blared, warning lights flashed red across her control panel. Years of training kicked in and she began evasive maneuvers, but the human pilot was always one step ahead. Who was this pilot? How could a single human craft display such extraordinary skill? The battle became a complex game of cat and mouse. Hye's advanced alien technology was being outmaneuvered by what should have been a simple human defense vessel. Each movement, each strategy she attempted was immediately anticipated and neutralized. Her ship's systems began to fail. Propulsion was dropping, defensive shields were collapsing, and the vast emptiness of space seemed to close in around her. This was not how she had imagined her mission ending. As her craft spiraled out of control, tumbling towards a nearby moon's harsh, rocky surface, Hye experienced something she had never felt before: genuine fear. Not the calculated risk of a warrior, but a primal, overwhelming sense of impending doom. The human pilot could easily destroy her now. One final laser pulse would end her existence, another alien craft eliminated in humanity's relentless expansion. But something unexpected happened. Instead of delivering the final blow, the human fighter moved closer. A strange energy beam reached out, stabilizing her damaged ship. It was a rescue, not an elimination. Hye's entire worldview began to crack. Everything she believed about humans, their brutality, their cold calculation, their complete disregard for alien life, was being challenged in this single impossible moment. As her consciousness began to fade, the last thing she saw was the human pilot ship, maintaining a protective proximity, preventing her complete destruction. This was not the human attack she had anticipated. This was something entirely different, and it would change everything. The moon's surface was a landscape of sharp rocks and endless gray dust. Harsh winds swept across barren plains, carrying tiny particles that seemed to whisper stories of loneliness. HFY's damaged ship lay partially buried, its metal frame twisted and scarred from the violent descent. Inside the ship's medical chamber, advanced recovery systems worked slowly. Alien technology hummed with soft, rhythmic pulses, attempting to heal the deep wounds and stabilize her critical condition. Her breathing was shallow, each breath a battle against internal damage. June Park watched from a small observation room. His flight suit was still dusty from the rescue operation, showing signs of the intense space battle. He wasn't a typical military pilot. Something about him suggested a deeper understanding, a complexity that went beyond standard combat training. Medical android moved carefully around HFY's body, scanning her unique biological systems. Her alien physiology was complex: multiple heart chambers, a different respiratory structure, skin that could absorb and reflect radiation. Humans had never been this close to her species before. Her cellular regeneration is different, the android reported to June. Standard human medical protocols won't work. June stepped closer to the observation window. His eyes, dark and contemplative, studied the unconscious alien warrior. He saw not an enemy, but a living being in desperate need of help. The small research station was not designed for alien medical treatment. It was a simple outpost meant for geological research and emergency space operations, but June was determined to keep her alive. Hours passed. HFY's body fought against her injuries. Memories of her previous battles, of lost squadron members, flickered through her unconscious mind. Dreams of burning planets and destroyed colonies mixed with the current reality of unexpected rescue. Outside, the moon's environment was brutal. Temperatures dropped rapidly, creating a landscape of extreme, cold and minimal hope. The research station was a tiny bubble of warmth and technology, protecting both the human pilot and the injured alien warrior. June began reviewing her ship's data records. Complex alien language systems and encrypted communication logs revealed fragments of her mission. He understood now why she had attacked: generations of conflict, territorial disputes, misunderstandings that had grown into deep-rooted hatred. The medical android continued its careful treatment. Special adaptation protocols were activated, slowly adjusting medical nanobots to work with her alien physiology. It was a delicate process, requiring constant monitoring and precise adjustments. Suddenly, HFY's body tensed. Her eyes, still closed, moved rapidly beneath her silvery eyelids. Whatever was happening in her mind was intense, a battle fought in the realm of unconscious memories. June watched, understanding that her recovery was about more than physical healing. Something deeper was happening, a potential transformation of perspective, a challenge to everything she believed about humans. Her hand moved slightly, fingers twitching with residual combat reflexes. Even unconscious, she remained a warrior, prepared to fight. Years of training and cultural conditioning were not easily overcome. The research station's communication systems remained alert. Any potential rescue or military response could change everything. June knew that his decision to save an enemy pilot was controversial, potentially career-ending. But some choices are made beyond career considerations. Some moments define who we truly are as individuals, as a species, as lunar winds continued their endless dance outside. HFY's breathing became more stable. The alien warrior who had come to destroy was now being saved by the very species she had targeted. Irony, it seemed, had its own beautiful complexity. June continued his vigil, watching, waiting, hoping that this moment might be the beginning of something unexpected, a bridge between two civilizations built on a moment of compassion. The medical bay was cold and sterile, filled with the soft beeping of monitoring equipment. HFY's eyes flickered open, focusing slowly on the unfamiliar environment. Her body felt strange, weak, but healing. The last memories of space battle swirled in her mind like fragments of a broken dream. June Park sat nearby, a cup of simple water in his hand. He watched her carefully, showing no signs of aggression or fear, His posture was relaxed, almost casual, which confused Hyeri more than any potential threat would have. "You're awake," he said simply, his voice calm and direct. Hyeri tried to move but found her body still recovering. Alien medical technology had been supplemented by human medical systems, creating a complex network of healing mechanisms across her body. "Why?" she asked. The single word carried the weight of her entire species' history of conflict with humans. June set down his cup. "Because letting you die would solve nothing," he explained. "Conflict breeds more conflict. Death is too easy a solution." Her translator processed his words, converting them into her native language. But something about his tone suggested meanings beyond the simple translation. He wasn't just speaking words, he was communicating something deeper. The research station hummed with quiet technology. Outside, the moon's harsh landscape remained unchanged, rocky, cold, indifferent to the complex drama unfolding inside the small human outpost. Hyeri studied June carefully. Human pilots were supposed to be ruthless, cold-blooded killers who expanded their territory without mercy. Yet this human had saved her life when destroying her would have been easier and more strategic. "My mission was to eliminate human settlements," she said, testing his reaction. June simply nodded. "I know, but missions can change. People can change." Something in his words struck her differently. It wasn't a threat or a lecture. It was an observation, almost philosophical in its simplicity. Slowly, carefully, he began sharing stories. Not of war, but of human complexity. Stories about families, about cultures, about the diversity of human experience. He spoke of Earth's own struggles, of conflicts that had been resolved through understanding rather than destruction. Hyeri listened. Her entire worldview began to crack, like a complex structure experiencing unexpected stress. The medical android continued monitoring her recovery, its systems translating and recording every interaction. This was more than a medical event. It was a potential diplomatic breakthrough. Hours passed. Conversations explored territories beyond simple communication. June didn't defend humanity as perfect. He acknowledged mistakes, spoke of failures, but also highlighted moments of extraordinary compassion. "We are not defined by our worst moments," he said, "but by how we respond to them." Her training had prepared her for combat, for strategic thinking, but nothing had prepared her for this kind of unexpected humanity. The research station's small kitchen produced simple meals. June offered her nutrition designed to support her unique biological needs. Each gesture was calculated yet genuine, showing care without demanding anything in return. Outside, lunar winds continued their endless dance. Stars moved silently across the dark sky. Silent witnesses to this unlikely moment of connection, Hyeri realized something fundamental was changing. Not just in her understanding of humans, but in her own perception of conflict, of purpose, of what it meant to be a living being in this vast, complex universe. Her squadron would have never understood this moment. Her military commanders would consider her compromised, potentially traitorous. But something inside her had shifted, a transformation more profound than any physical healing. June watched her, understanding that this moment was bigger than both of them. A single act of compassion could potentially change the trajectory of entire civilizations. The moon continued its silent orbit, indifferent to the remarkable conversation happening within the small human research station. Survival, it seemed, was about more than physical recovery. It was about understanding, about seeing beyond predetermined narratives, about recognizing our shared humanity, even when that humanity came from unexpected sources. The communication room buzzed with quiet energy. Holographic displays flickered, showing complex star charts and historical records of interstellar conflicts. June connected Hyeri to data archives that would challenge everything she believed about human civilization. Images of Earth's own struggles appeared, environmental disasters, wars, moments of extraordinary human suffering and resilience. These were not propaganda materials, but raw historical records showing humanity's complex journey. Hyeri watched in silence. Her alien eyes absorbed information differently, processing visual data with a speed humans could never comprehend. She saw patterns humans themselves often missed, connections between conflict and resolution, between destruction and rebuilding. "Your people have suffered," she said quietly, surprising herself with the observation. June nodded. "Every civilization has scars," he responded. "The question is whether we learn from them." Her species had believed humans were simple conquerors, but these archives revealed something more nuanced, a civilization wrestling with its own limitations, constantly struggling between its destructive potential and its capacity for compassion. Historical records showed human scientists who had sacrificed everything to protect endangered species. Diplomatic records demonstrated complex negotiations that avoided total war. Medical research revealed humanity's commitment to healing, not just for their own species, but for entire planetary ecosystems. The research station's computer systems worked overtime, translating and presenting information in ways HFY could understand. Advanced translation algorithms captured not just words, but cultural context, emotional undertones. "We thought humans saw alien life as disposable," HFY said, her voice a mixture of confusion and emerging understanding. "These records suggest something different." June shared stories about human explorers who had dedicated their lives to understanding alien cultures. He spoke of scientific missions designed to make first contact without causing disruption, of researchers who spent decades learning alien languages and cultural practices. Her military training had prepared her for conflict, but nothing had prepared her for this level of complexity. Outside the station's reinforced windows, the lunar landscape remained a silent witness. Rocks and dust stretched endlessly, a reminder of how small their individual experiences were in the grand scheme of the universe. The medical android continued monitoring their interaction, recording what might become a significant moment in interstellar relations. Every conversation, every shared piece of information was potentially historic. HFY's understanding of humans began to transform. They were not a monolithic civilization of conquerors, but a diverse, complex species containing multiple perspectives, multiple possibilities. June didn't present these stories as a defense. He simply shared them, allowing her to draw her own conclusions. This approach was more powerful than any argument, more convincing than any propaganda. Historical records showed human mistakes, terrible moments of colonial expansion, environmental destruction, cultural erasure. But they also showed remarkable moments of growth, of learning, of fundamental transformation. "Your species learns," HFY observed, "even when the learning is painful." June smiled. It was a simple human expression that carried more meaning than words could capture, an acknowledgement of their shared journey of understanding. The communication systems continued processing information. Star charts showed the complex network of human and alien civilizations, an intricate web of potential connections and conflicts. HFY realized her entire mission had been based on incomplete information. Her hatred, her desire for revenge, had been built on a foundation of misunderstanding. As lunar hours passed, something extraordinary happened. Two beings from different worlds shaped by generations of conflict began to see each other not as enemies, but as complex living entities with shared hopes and struggles. The research station hummed with potential. Outside, stars continued their silent dance across the dark lunar sky, indifferent to the remarkable conversation happening within its walls. Perspectives were colliding, but not in destruction. They were merging, creating something entirely new, a bridge of understanding that transcended species, culture, and generations of conflict. The communication channel crackled with tension. HFY's alien command structure demanded a full report, expecting details of human settlement destruction. Instead, she prepared to deliver something entirely different. June watched carefully, understanding the risk she was taking. Betraying her own military could mean complete exile, potential execution. Her fingers moved across alien communication systems, translating complex strategic information that could prevent a massive interstellar conflict. "They plan a full-scale invasion of 3 human colony worlds," she explained, her voice steady. My data will help your defense systems prepare. The Gao Research Station's communication array transformed her intelligence into actionable military strategies. Each piece of information was a potential lifeline, a chance to save thousands of lives on both sides. Military leaders on Earth initially received her transmission with extreme skepticism. An alien warrior providing defensive intelligence? It seemed impossible. But detailed strategic maps, invasion timelines, and weapon system specifications proved her credibility. Hyeri's decision meant more than preventing a war. It represented a fundamental shift in her understanding of purpose, of loyalty, of what it meant to protect life. June prepared diplomatic communication channels. This wasn't just a military intervention, it was a potential diplomatic breakthrough. Two civilizations, long separated by misunderstanding and conflict, might find a new path forward. Alien communication protocols were complex. Each transmission required multiple layers of encryption, careful translation, intricate verification processes. But something remarkable was happening. Communication was replacing confrontation. The Lunar Research Station became an unexpected diplomatic center. What had begun as a simple rescue mission was transforming into something much larger, a potential bridge between civilizations. Earth's diplomatic corps worked carefully. They understood the delicate nature of this unexpected alliance. One wrong move could destroy the fragile connection Hyeri and June had created. Her own civilization would consider her a traitor. Military commanders would hunt her, viewing her actions as complete betrayal of their expansionist goals. She was choosing a path of understanding over blind loyalty. June offered her protection, a potential new beginning. Not just safety, but an opportunity to become something more than a warrior, a potential ambassador, a bridge between two complex civilizations. The research station's systems continued processing information. Star charts showed potential diplomatic routes, communication channels, areas of potential cooperation. What had seemed impossible was slowly becoming potential. Hyeri's decision represented more than individual choice. It was a statement about the possibility of transcending generational conflicts, of seeing beyond predetermined narratives of hatred and destruction. Military analysts on Earth began studying her provided intelligence. Each map, each strategic detail represented a potential life saved, a conflict avoided. Her act of sharing information was an act of profound compassion. The lunar landscape remained unchanged, rocky, silent, indifferent to the remarkable transformation happening within the small human research station. Stars continued their eternal dance across the dark sky. June understood this was just the beginning. One rescue, one conversation, one shared moment of understanding could potentially change entire civilizations' trajectories. Hyeri's alien communication systems began receiving initial response transmissions. Some were suspicious, some curious, some surprisingly supportive. The diplomatic dance had begun. The medical android that had initially treated her now served as a communication assistant, helping translate complex cultural and linguistic nuances. Technology became a bridge where biological differences might have created barriers. Hours turned into days. Each transmission, each shared piece of information, represented a step towards potential understanding. Two beings from completely different worlds were creating something unprecedented, a genuine connection beyond conflict. Her warrior training had prepared her for battle, but nothing had prepared her for this journey of transformation, of discovering that compassion could be a more powerful weapon than any technological arsenal. The research station hummed with potential energy. Outside, the lunar winds continued their endless dance, silent witnesses to a moment that might change everything. A new alliance was being born, not through military might, but through a simple, profound act of seeing each other's humanity. One rescue, one conversation, endless possibility.